Welcome to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for you all. Know that energy is fluid, so just interpret the message as it best resonates. Sometimes you'll notice part of it resonates with you, while the other part of it resonates with the person that you're tapped into, or the person that's actually thinking of you. It's whoever the message needs to go to. Remember, we get what we need, not all the time what we want, right? A lot of times what we want is we want happy experiences. We want passion. We want love. We want exciting. And sometimes, again, we don't get that. We might get exciting, but not in a positive way. It could be full of drama. We could get, again, experience where we want to feel really truly connected with someone, and we do, but it's, again, the relationship's full of pain. So you may say, why does that happen? Well, again, our people that we're connected to and the situations that unfold within our life are all meant to help heal us, to help us evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love. Okay, so now if you want to know anything about the channel, you can find it in the description box. You can also find my Patreon link and my directions on how to win a reading. Every time I do a reading, whether it's live or whether it's a pre-recorded, there will always be an opportunity for you guys to win a reading. All you need to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the magic word in the comment box. The magic word is always how I start the reading off, as well as the first word. And I always use my deck, the Psychic Soul Healer deck, because I want to look at the psychological and the emotional aspects of your situation, which are the spiritual, right? Energy. We're made up of energy. It's our thoughts and our emotions. And that is pretty much what creates our energy vibration. So when we have negative feelings, understand it's not just so much that we're holding that energy within our body, and over time that can create sickness, but it comes out within our behaviorisms. So that's why we want to look and see what the spiritual energy is first, because that's going to allow us to know why certain behaviorisms and actions are happening, because it comes out within our character. And that's what karma is based on, right? The karmic lesson is the end result. Karma is not considered good or bad. It just is considered learn. It's just, unfortunately, the experiences that create a lot of pain really help us learn. Oh, there's one talking about, and this is perseverance. I feel like the situation that you're in is creating a lot of perseverance. Like, you have to, again, when you are connected to somebody and you have feelings for them and you want to stand your ground, this is one way that we persevere. We persevere through, again, staying focused on what we are doing. Other aspects of our life is what I'm talking about, within work. It could be within, other relationships. It could be within hobbies. It doesn't matter. But if we persevere and understand, in that we wind up a lot of times getting opportunities that also push us to finding our true self. And in doing this, it is a spiritual walk. We look at the spiritual energies first. Perseverance is a very positive trait, because nothing in life is easy. And when we persevere, we get internal strength. We find out really truly what we're made of. And I feel like this is where you are, Virgo. Again, Promethean fire. And that's because you have a passion for what it is that you, again, do. So whether you are a influencer, a speaker, whether you're an educator, whether you're an artist, again, this is a general message. So there's somebody within every craft, right? But we're not talking about the actual craft. We're talking about the emotional energy. The Promethean fire is passion, but it's also passion, not just the internal passion that we stir up within ourselves when we love what we do, when we're embodying what our soul's purpose, right? It's also the energy that's created between two people. Again, that romance, that chemistry, that sexual energy is what creates the Promethean fire. So I'm kind of feeling as if, Virgo, you're attached to somebody that you have to stand your ground, that you do have intense passion for, and you're able to do it because you are, again, in your purpose. And so understand, by doing this, you will actually see and are seeing a different result. You're not growing weaker, you're actually getting stronger. Where I feel like the person that you're connected to is getting weaker. There's actually an exchange of power that's going on, which happens a lot of times in twin flame relationships. There's always a runner and a chaser. And that's because love can't be manipulated. It can't be broken. It can't be distorted. It's the only energy that transcends time and space. So again, when we have a lot of passion for someone, it's easy to persevere through the problems because, again, that chemistry, that passion. But again, in order to do this, a lot of times to tame the energy, especially Virgo, if you were the chaser at one point, it would be to embody your passion, which is what you're doing. It's almost like, well, I can't get this person to, treat me the way that I need them to treat me. So I'm going to put my energy into growing myself, creating myself. And I know it's also creating yourself. It's not just a job because you have passion. And that's really the only energy that can emotionally fulfill you, to be able to not let this energy affect you. Because when we're really hot for someone and we're passionate for someone, it's hard not to get caught up. All right, so let's see. Last card for this is release intensive and repressed nature. So there's a cognitive dissonance going on within both of you, which is you're needing to release control. And the control could be needing to have your person treat you the way that you need to be treated on an emotional level 100%. Why I say that is because when we want to control, right? When we want to control, it creates a lot of, like, we have fear. That's why we do that, right? We control because we have fear, which, by the way, is the second chakra in balance. So when we don't feel safe in a relationship because we don't trust, there's a sense of, I want to be with this person, but I also don't want to be with this person. That's what a cognitive dissonance is that you're holding two opposites, right? A paradox of energy. It's almost when we fight with our heart and mind. Like, logically, we can say, I don't want to be with this person because I don't like the way that they are, but I'm really passionate about them at the same time. So it's and so what this is that two people need to release control. A lot of times that happens when we are in a soul relationship. It's one where, again, the person that we're dealing with doesn't think the way that we do, doesn't act the way that they do. A lot of times they awaken every single wound that we have. And that's what creates the cognitive dissonance. It's like, I like you, I'm passionate about you, I feel like you're supposed to be in my life. I had this instantaneous connection with you. However, you bother me. Like, everything that you do is a trigger. You don't act the way and I need you to act. I don't. So it's like, we're in constant conflict. And that's because, again, there is passion there, but there's also a lot of trauma there. So we can see it doesn't matter though, because when it's unconditional love, it perseveres. Now let's look at the wounds. Let's look at your person's wounds. And then let's look at your wounds, Virgo. Because I will look at and see what's actually happening in your life as well, meaning how the story plays out. But I like when we're able to see why people do what they do, because it helps us not take responsibility. It helps us to deal with them differently. It helps us to look at ourselves differently. And really, that's what healing is. Healing allows us to quantum jump into the reality that works best for us and not reliving the same karmic theme where we feel betrayed or victimized or not loved or whatever it is that makes us feel stuck, to create this energy in the first place, right? Confronting, lashing out at others. Everyone is the enemy. Work on anger issues. So it's, again, I feel like this person feels like you were always judging them, and it was because you would, confront them on the way that they were behaving, which a lot of times that's what happens. But I feel like this person triggered you, as I said, so the way that you would say it. And so when you have a spiritual connection to someone, it's a lot of times it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And being that this person is probably very wounded, they saw it as like you were lashing out on them, judging them, again, where that's not really it. And I feel like they grew up with someone that judged them a lot. So they have wounding from that. So they don't really know how to have a conversation. So this is why the person is holds on to wanting control, because they never manifest a good relationship, I feel like. And it's because they don't know how to communicate. And it's also because they have the need to control, and they're not really coming from a balanced place. So they're never really coming from a place of balance. And when people question them, they get very defensive. And obviously, after a while, people don't want to be taken advantage of, especially if you're dating them. So you're going to say something. But this is what happens with, like, almost like we would see it as narcissistic energy, where the person is so fearful, they only care about themselves. They don't care about the other person's point of view. And when you're in a relationship, it's not just about you. You have to, again, it's about compromise. It's about being able to communicate. It's about not taking things personally. So we can see that there's a lot of passion here. And so what happens with a lot of passion is we, again, tend to, want to put our best foot forward. But if we don't like who we are, we're never going to really be able to do that. Right? I mean, rebellious, needing to appear different. Again, this person wears a mask, and it's because they don't like who they are on the inside, and they don't like who they are because they base who they are on their past relationships. But if we're always wearing a mask, we never know. No one knows who we are, right? It's, again, people are going to perceive us from that mask. And people can also feel on an energetic level, on an intuitive level, that's not truly who you are. Why? Because when we are wearing a mask, a lot of times we overcompensate or we undercompensate within our behaviorisms, which is what gives us away, because we're not coming from a place of balance. We're not coming from a place of our true self. So it's, again, so like needing to control, because there's so much passion. And however, there's so much passion that makes the relationship stay, like withstand the test of time. However, your person's broken and they, again, don't like who they are. So the relationship is kind of like at a standstill because of this, which is why it's being held in a cognitive dissonance. So if you're wondering why your person isn't coming towards you, it's because I want this, but I don't. And more so because I don't know how this relationship is going to turn out, because I'm basing it on all my other relationships, unfortunately, because I haven't healed. Now let's see how it affected you. Submissive, not sharing your opinion, going along with the crowd. So again, when a person doesn't make you feel comfortable, which obviously if the person like saw that everything that you said was confronting them, you like them, a lot of times we are more submissive. It's like we become very in tuned to like what is going to affect the person that we like, that we spend time with, and we obviously want to make them happy. So this could be like a karmic pattern that, you know, maybe you grew up in a family where you were the fixer of the family, you were the healer of the family, and in that you just, you know, could mold to any energy. And but at one time you tried to fix it, right? By being the good person, by being the perfect person. And so you get back into the relationship that transcends your mind back into where you have to play that role for your survival, and emotional survival is considered survival. And so in that, you unconsciously always just follow the crowd. You do what's easiest. So over time, what happens is this person trains you not to say anything. And that's why I said, I'm feeling like narcissistic energy here. And it's narcissistic energy because they don't like who they are. And there's so much passion in this relationship that this person would want to be in full control because they don't have good experiences with their past relationships. So, you know, when you get into love relationships, passionate relationships, there's a sense of obviously intimacy. But when I'm talking about that your person has a problem with is the emotional intimacy. So again, where you wouldn't be getting what you need, because that's a trained behavior, and that would be karmic. So again, everyone plays a role in their house when they grow up. And in this situation, Virgo, I believe that you were the healer, you were the fixer, you were the person that just went with the flow, was very easygoing. Didn't like to create waves. You were the sensitive soul. But in that, it's very easy when you were younger to be manipulated into, you know, using your energy to make other people feel good. So you were not a healed healer. You were a wounded healer. And now you are a healed healer. However, you're getting this karmic test, and the karmic test is, you know, are you going to fall back into being submissive? Let's see what other wound you have. Because again, it's the trained behaviorism, but it comes from the wound of not loving yourself enough, wanting to be perfect, trying to fix something that's not yours to fix. And this happens a lot of times when we're born into very dysfunctional households. If your parents drank, if there was one parent that worked all the time and didn't have a relationship, or you had a parent that had nothing but bad relationships. So it's again growing up in an environment where you were first taught through inheriting that karma, meaning that you were taught by a family member by what you saw. And so you inherited that trauma, and then you played the role of trying to fix it. And so winding up back in a relationship that it's the same type of scenario, you trying to fix something that you can't fix. That's what happens, is that the trauma will play out. And really, again, the other one was insecure. And so this is where, again, when I said, what would be your wound? So I can feel that you're an empath. You're a highly sensitive person, Virgo. So again, the unhealed healer is insecure and follows submission. Now, does that mean that you would do it? No, again, it depends. This is the spiritual energy of what this person, again, the person you're connected to, wanted you to do, because that's normally what happens. This isn't their first rodeo in the way that they conduct themselves. They've had a long line of bad relationships. You can tell right here. It's, again, especially if you can't have a conversation, they see it as you're confronting them, okay? However, there is this unconditional love that, again, perseveres, and there's a lot of passion. That's how we know that. But the need to control. This person has a need to control. So it's affecting your energy, because then whether you're playing along with this or not, you would have a need to control too, because you would be like, I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want to be manipulated. I don't want to be, because you already know how this person is, which right then and there, that tells you that you shouldn't really, if you know how this person is, even though there's passion there, you shouldn't want to change them. Now let's look at the triggers, and then we'll look and see actually how this story plays out and what their truth, like inner truth are, because just because there's this, but there's this passion, this person's not nice. And you can see, because they're in a place of survival. That's what happens when we come from that. So breathe. I felt suffocated by how tightly you were holding on to me. I need to breathe. So I'm kind of feeling like that was like a control tactic. And they would say that you were smothering them, or make you feel as if you were smothering them, because, but meanwhile, they have a hard time giving. However, I do believe that they do want to control. They just want to control where they have all the power. Forgotten. And this is why I felt invisible and forgotten by you, as if I never existed. So it's, again, like I feel like this person turns it on, turns it off, and it's because they are detached. They have dissociation disorder. So they have trauma where they have disconnected from themselves. They don't like who they are, is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling also like they're, when you were younger, if you were insecure, you were the wounded healer, and you did feel forgotten unless you overgave and unless you went along with everything. So this was reactivating those wounds, being with someone that was deliberately rebellious because of their fear, where you can't even have a conversation with them. Nothing good comes from that. You can't manifest your life if you're too worried. That's why it's so important with the people that you surround yourself with. And what you'll notice too, as you level up, as you do healing work, as you again are on your spiritual journey, people just fall out of your life. And that's because you raise your vibration, and the people more in alignment with you wind up coming into your life, people that are going to support you on your journey. So understand, holding on to this energy is, I don't feel like it's positive. Again, enough. I had enough of your bad temper and disrespect. So I feel like you walked away from this person. Because again, you felt forgotten. And every time you would say something, they would twist it around and make it like you were like confronting them and judging them. And like you couldn't even have a conversation. And that's a form of gaslighting, just so you know, which is, like I said, I felt like this person's narcissistic. And I feel like they're narcissistic because of the wounds that they haven't healed from their past relationships. So that's what happens if you don't heal your wounds. You go into the next relationship and you bleed all over that person, the next person that you're with. And that's what I feel like this person did. So let's look at the hidden truths. But it was a good thing that you walked away. And I don't think your person did not think you were going to walk away because they felt that passion. They could feel the spiritual connection, but that's not enough. They were a little delusional, like living more from their ego, living more from that mask, the rebellious of, I could do whatever I want, you'll never leave, because I feel you really do have feelings for me. I regret lying to you. I feel like they get just gaslighted so that they would leave information out, they would stage things to look a certain way, anything to control. They didn't think you were going to walk away. You had to, because this behavior would have went on forever. And that's why they're not happy, because you called them out on their bullshit and you're standing your ground. So there's a sense of embarrassment, I feel. I wouldn't be surprised if this person isn't angry. I wish I could take back my words. Yeah, like it's again, they're in regret. And I feel like they're stuck in your conversations and the things that they did, not just the words that they said, but their actions, just all of it. It's again, because there really was a spiritual connection, you see, there really is a lot of passion, but you see how all the wounds that they have not healed within inside themselves had they projected, and it came out within their behaviors with you. Breadcrumbing, not acting like they really cared, like gaslighting, one-sided relationship. No one wants to be in a one-sided unfair relationship. I don't care what it is. No one has the right to feel forgotten in a relationship, even though that they're afraid because there's so much passion and they think, oh, well, it's just gonna never break it because it stands the test of time. No. This person's controlling the situation, and they were controlling the situation and trying to navigate the relationship, being very strategic, which is of the mind, it's not the heart. And you were also trying to strategize after a while because you're like, I'm afraid that this person's going to hurt me. And I feel like you did that for a little while until you had enough, until you said enough. So again, not until you walked away do they regret. They're in regret now. And they're reminiscing on everything that they said and did. And they're in the woulda, coulda, shoulda. So many things remind me of you. Yeah, because it's, again, this person wants to come back and say they're sorry, I feel, but they're embarrassed by their behavior. They don't even know where to start. They don't really even remember the things that they did. And I know that that sounds crazy, but when we're coming from a place of survival, and then there's a lot of emotions here because there's a lot of chemistry here. And they didn't let you get close, so they don't really remember. And I feel like we're talking to a lot of people at a time, again, trying to make you feel like this relationship was insignificant, which is why, again, you go like, enough, I don't want this anymore. Like, I'm not going to just go along with everything that you want. You know, like, why are you gaslighting and being manipulative? Because, again, you want to have me be like, have to stay in this one-sided relationship, and you think just because there's this bond that it can stay. I left you before you could leave me. And I feel like that's exactly what you kind of did, Virgo. You were like, I see the writing on the wall. I see the writing on the wall, and I see already that it would hurt me more than it would hurt you if it would hurt me more than it would hurt you if I stayed in this relationship and kept becoming submissive, if I kept giving you. So I feel like you learned the spiritual lesson. I believe that this was a karmic relationship, and it was a karmic relationship. This was a karmic mate. And this karmic mate, like when you got together with them, they were really unfair. They wanted the relationship to be like completely one-sided. And I feel like, again, it was because you have been in other relationships that were really imbalanced as well. So we continue to keep living the same karmic theme when we don't learn. So, and I believe that this relationship, you actually learned because you integrated the spiritual lesson. The spiritual lesson was to leave. And now what we see is that they're in a place of regret. Now let's see what they're going to do, because soul relationships always have the opportunity to step it up a notch, right? Again, that's why when people come into our life and they affect us, they usually come into our life to create awareness. They create awareness on how we behave. And that's what I see here, that your person didn't think that it would matter how they treated you. I don't think that they ever had a deep connection before, like a real soul's connection before. And now they have this soul's connection, this deep soul connection. It terrifies them. So they want to control. They want to have the upper hand because they want to be with you. They do have this passion. They do have this intense chemistry, but they're terrified. So they only came from a place where they cared about themselves. They were very, very, very selfish, very self-indulgent, very selfish. And they wanted you to go along with everything, where it would have been that you really undervalued yourself and that you were settling for breadcrumbs. So again, they never expected you to leave. But the good thing is that you did leave. You had to. So let's see. What are they going to do? Obstacles. I'll come back for you. So I believe the only obstacles that they have are the ones that, again, that are in their mind. I also believe, like, when they didn't know what to do, when you, again, didn't follow what they wanted, that they would, talk to other people, as I said earlier. So I feel like there's some people that are still lingering. They're still, they also, but it's mainly the obstacles are, again, needing to surrender their egos, needing to not control unhealthy habits and behaviors. So it's, again, stepping up into their true self, knowing that if they're going to be with you, they also have to not breadcrumb, not try to manipulate to get their way. They would also need to not use other people. So because I feel like this person would not give you attention and talk to other people, but not because they like those other people. It was a way to distract them, because there is passion between you and them. So they would need to let go some of their low vibrational ways and their behaviorisms, meaning how they think about the relationship. That, as I said, they need to heal. I also feel like they could drink too much, that there's some of them drink and do other things to again not cave, to deal with the emotion. again, the emotion is the passion that they have for you, but they don't want to give in. They don't want you to have the upper hand. That's the way that they see relationships, like someone has to have the upper hand. So number one, they need to look at how relationships work in a completely different way, because no one is supposed to have all the power. It's supposed to be a, a give and take, equal reciprocity type deal when you're in a relationship, for it to work happy, where no one's getting hurt, where no one feels victimized, where I feel like your person wanted you to do that, live victimized for their own happiness. And now the obstacles really are the obstacles in their own head, feeling like, how can I really come back to you after I know that you know how I treated you? But I feel because there's so much chemistry and that it is a soul's relationship, they know down deep inside that they're going to come back for you. They just don't know when. They also don't know when they're going to grow up to, to step into their true self, where they, everybody has unhealthy habits, everybody has behaviorisms, but when you have feelings for someone that you perceive as being on a higher vibration than you, which is what this person feels, they know the certain things that just wouldn't fly in your world. So it's about stepping into their true self and about letting go and releasing things that no longer serve them. And part of that is to do their own healing, so that they don't have to feel like they need to wear a mask or be like a person, just needing to appear like a rebel without a cause, like they don't really care because they want to make you feel insecure so that they have more control. It's like, no. Rose-colored glasses, and rose-colored glasses are that, believe me, that narcissists don't pick the worst, they pick the best. And it's because narcissists feel very flawed, they feel broken, so they want to choose someone that they perceive is better than them, someone that does better, but it's a one-sided relationship. They feel as if, they'll feel as if you're an extension of themselves. That's what happens. And they're going to treat you the way that they treat themselves, and they don't like who they are. So understand, you would have to kind of mold to the way that this person is. And that's, no one could be in that type of relationship for long periods of time. We could see that. I run away to avoid facing my problems. Yeah, this person needs to do a lot more healing. They need to do a lot more healing, because when we look and see what they're going to do, if they're still there's still passion. There's still I want to be with you because of I want to be with you, and then ego mind. However, the obstacles are everything that this person did. And really, I don't like facing my problems. And I have unhealthy habits that I have and behaviorisms that I really have to let go of. I know I have to step into my true self. So I really never let you get that close. And that's what you could feel. And because they wanted their cake and eat it too. So I don't really feel like you're going to do anything from a very high perception. I don't, because like I said, they're almost in debating about it. They haven't made up their mind. And so when a person's debating and they're not in your life, and you're sad about it, then understand they're not caring, again, how you feel. They don't care enough about that. And understand if they're not healed enough, it's that they just are concerned about their needs. And that's because they're so terrified. So it's not even because you're not good enough. it will make you feel, if you with this person, as if you're not good enough. And that's why I'm saying, going along with this, with feeling forgotten, because it's all about them, and they can't say anything, and they can see it as you're confronting. So it's like they're committed to not changing is what I'm trying to get at. They're just not healed enough. So what does the universe tell us to do with this energy? Because what's the healing advice when we wind up with a person that doesn't want to change, that they're like, I love you and I like you for what I know what love is. So again, when your person knows about love is just that everything, they get everything, you don't get anything, that they don't need to change, that you need to change, that you need to be submissive to them. What do we do when we love a person like this? What's the spiritual, how can we learn to let go? How can we learn to not be angry? Again, imagine how many emotions come up when we are connected to someone that only cares about themselves. And we feel like they're a soulmate. We can feel that spiritual connection. Now, a lot of people say, oh, just leave it alone. A lot of times people can't leave it alone. They know, again, I know that this person is no good, but I can't let go. And if this isn't you, then this isn't your reading. However, there's many people that I'm sure even friends of yours that you can look at and say, how come they're together? He's not good for her, or she's not good for him. Why is that? How can they let go? Because we know that it's a karmic relationship, and you can see it because the relationship looks like a train wreck. And it's one that brings nothing but pain and manipulation because it's a one-sided relationship. That's because you're not getting beaten. If you're not getting your emotional needs met, it's traumatic. And understand, we go through that a lot of times, especially if we grew up in an environment where we didn't get our emotional needs met, or if we were married previously or in a very serious relationship, but that person never showed up for us. This is this energy, why this happened here. So how are we supposed to deal with it? Affirmation: I listen to myself and I acknowledge my needs. I assess myself and retain my power. I am brave and gentle. I don't have to be afraid of others. I respect myself and am respected by others. So this is to say affirmations. Again, if you couldn't attract this person and go along with this for any amount of time, not even a day, not even a second, if you were coming from your truth. So what Spirit says is you first have to come from your truth. And if you don't believe it, you have to say affirmations. And again, kind of, fake it till you make it. You say it enough times, but the intention should be, and the truth is, you are, again, the divine lives inside of you. You are the divine, pretty much. The kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God's inside of you. However, if we're coming from a place of fear, where again, this was all about a trauma bond, someone trying to keep you binded to them, but not like in a nice way, in a very negative way, in a one-sided way, a narcissistic way. And so again, to know that you're deserving, like I listen to myself, you can feel that it's not good. And you did what you needed to do. Acknowledge your needs. Emotionally, I deserve to get what I need. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I don't need to be perfect and try to fix this or fix you. It's again, and I don't have to be afraid of others. And I respect yourself, and you respect yourself by not doing this. And you respect others because you treat them the way you want to be treated. So, and the other one that fell out is here and now. The future does not exist and the past is gone. I focus on the present moment. I have confidence in life again because here now there is no danger. Everything happens when my soul is ready. So is to not ruminate on how this person treated you. because it's a spiritual issue. They don't feel good with themselves. This has nothing to do with you, though it brought out wounds that you have of, again, maybe not getting your needs met. And so to not go to an empty well, someone that can't give you. So, and that's what you learn from this lesson. But then also know that if you're concerned, I'm never going to meet anyone, that's not true either. Don't put yourself in the future. This again, because that's going to create a lot of anxiety and going to create a lot of fear. Like focusing on the past will create a lot of anger. It's about being in the moment and enjoying the moment, because only in the now do you get divine guidance to gut, intuition, inner knowing. And when the student is ready, the teacher appears, the universe will bring you a person in that right time. And that if it's not happening yet, it's not the right time, but you have to have faith, because it's saying be here and now. And like, don't lose faith just because of this person. And the last one that came out is the divine fruit. As I work to improve and free myself, I strengthen my foundation. My intellect is light, my heart is warmth, and my soul is strength. I am nurtured by the divine sun. The fruit I bear reflects my inner light. So again, so just be present in the moment, and again, come from the highest vibrational energy that you can, and you show that through your actions. That should comes out to your behaviorism. So while you're in the here and now, improve yourself, strengthen your inner self. And that's by creating yourself more, doing what warms your heart, doing things that stir up your soul is what this is saying. It's saying, feed yourself, become yourself. And you can do that when you, again, do things that inspire you. You do things that interest you. You do things that have, again, some meaning to it, that brings you into a whole new place of you, that allows you to see yourself differently, which, you know, then if someone that even has this type of energy comes towards you, they wouldn't actually be able to stay in your life, because they wouldn't hold the same vibrational frequency. Person with this low energy, that's a narcissist, that's mean, that tries to bind you to them so that you can't move forward, but then doesn't want to give you anything, is wounded. But you wouldn't have been attracted to that. That person wouldn't have came into your life. There wouldn't have been a soul's relationship where you felt that chemistry, unless you didn't need to learn. And what you needed to learn was, are you giving this person too much of your time and energy because they think you're insecure? You're displaying that you're insecure by wasting your time with someone that, even though that there's a connection, if they're not treating you right, it's going to keep you in a place of submission and binded to people that don't, again, emotionally give you what you need. And that's what you need. And you know that. So you need to listen to yourself. So what it's saying is, because that has happened, be in the here and now, but create yourself where you begin to love yourself. So you raise that vibration so you can attract that type of person back into your life. That type of energy, because what we know about karmic loop are karmic themes that play out, and they continue to play out. So they'll play out within your life. And then let's just say you are with somebody that victimizes you and you break up with them. Then what happens is you attract someone else that victimizes you. Then you say, well, then I don't date. And then what happens is you go to work and someone at work victimizes you. Then it's, again, it comes out in all different scenarios. It plays out. That karmic theme plays out. So in order for you to break this karmic contract where you keep reliving experiences where you feel like you just attract narcissists, what Spirit is saying is, well, you have to, again, affirm what you deserve It's again, and affirm who you are and listen to yourself. And you know what doesn't feel right. You don't try and change a person, even though that you have a connection and you're attracted to them. And be here and now. Don't hold on to that energy by thinking about it, because you'll hold that vibration and keep attracting the same type of person to you. And again, create yourself. You know, it's again that you're the divine. You have supernatural power. That means your mind is so strong. If you again put it out there in your mind, you're going to attract to it. So instead, recreate neurological pathways in your mind by doing things differently, by again knowing who you are and feeding your passions. You begin to find yourself, you begin to get very strong in yourself. Like I said, you won't be able to keep somebody that is of that lower vibration in your life. They want to be able to manipulate someone. So let's just say you do pull in someone that has that energy. A lot of times we keep getting the same spiritual test over and over and over again until there's no more emotional trigger. So you say, well, I learned that lesson. Yeah, but until you don't get triggered and you handle it like it's not like you can handle it with light and love and release. So one way, like I said, that we can do that is by, again, really embodying our passion, you know, and really that's how we can let go of someone that isn't giving us what we need, because we're giving it to ourselves. We're learning self-love. And when we learn self-love, like we couldn't possibly step out of our truth because it feels too good. And what we have attracted from being in that vibration is much better than being attached and binded to things that are of pain. You know, we're not supposed to stay wounded. The situations change when you change your mind. And so the universe will match the energy. You're not in charge of who or what comes into your mind, but you're definitely in charge of the energy of what comes into your life. And this is the story of that, because this person, even though there was a strong chemistry, they're not good. They're not healthy for you. And that's what you know. One last message from the universe. Okay. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. And that's a perfect card to end this off, because what Spirit is saying is, yes, that did happen, but you don't want to become this person that you attracted, right? Because this person is wounded due to all their past relationships. So they came into this relationship and they just bled all over you because they're wounded from all their past relationships. So in order for you not to feel that that's all you attract, or so that you don't bleed all over the next person that you're with, you again need to focus on what it is that you want to create within your life. And we would do that again by focusing on the fruits, the divine fruits. The divine fruits are the passions in life. It's our own talents. It's our own hidden talents. It's again, strengthening our foundation is how we strengthen ourselves. We are the foundation. It's not your house that you live in. It's you. It's so that you take yourself with you, right? Because again, that's just the way that it goes. And we can go with the flow of life. The second chakra is all about being able to go with the flow of life because we're strong within ourselves. Otherwise, there's a need to control. Your person tried to control, and in that, all they did was they pushed you out of their life. And that's why they're not happy. That's why they're in a place of regret. But they also know that they would have to change and heal and evolve in order to be with you, and they're just not ready. So we're going to leave that there. Now, if you resonated with this message, Virgo, let me know. Give me a like, comment again, and comment that first word in your description box, which I think it was perseverance. right? So it's going to be like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word perseverance in your comment bar, and we will correspond back and forth on YouTube to figure out the best time. And again, the day of the your video, your free reading. Now all readings are done live stream, but you'll find the link to that live stream in the comments where you and I comment back and forth. Okay, I always like to put that out there because lately when people win, they're always like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Where am I going to find the link? And make it really easy. Again, wherever you write that comment, again, wherever you decide to write the magic word, I will again correspond back and forth to you right there on the page. All right, I'll talk to you all soon, Virgo. Good luck. Bye.